to FM Tuition Academy. Okay, today I'll be teaching on how to identify one, a metal, two, a non-metal. So how to identify a metal, a non-metal. A metal, it means it's a metal. Non-metal, it means an element that is not a metal. Okay, so these are just two elements. A metal, you know what a metal is. Now, you remember in the previous lectures we are looking at valences. Okay, for example, if I write calcium is number 20, atomic number. EC is EC is 2,8,8,2. So it means this last number here, that's the one that helps you to identify whether the element is a metal or a non-metal. That last number, it helps you to identify whether it's a metal or a non-metal, this element. So if the last number of electrons in the not if the last number, if the number of electrons in the last shell, these are shells, shell number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So if the number of electrons in the last shell is less than 4, the element is a metal. Okay, so if the number of electrons in the last shell is less than 4, the element is a metal. For example, this calcium, have you seen calcium? The last shell has got 2, and 2 is less than 4, so meaning calcium is actually a metal. So as I said, calcium it is actually 2,8,8,2. So the last shell here, okay, it's 2. So 2 is less than 4. Okay, meaning calcium is a metal. Okay, another element that I can pick is sodium. The second element I'm going to pick is sodium. Okay, I want to know whether sodium is a metal. So you say sodium is Na11. Okay, EC, it is 2,8,1, which is it. So you look at the last shell. What's the last number? 1. Okay, so 1 is less than 4. Okay, once the last number is less than 4, meaning it's a metal. If it is 1 at the end here, if it is 2, if it is 3. Okay, but if it is 4, if the last number is 4, meaning it's neither a metal nor a non-metal, it's just on the middle. So 1 is less than 4. Therefore, sodium. Therefore, sodium is a metal. Okay, so you have known what a metal is. So if this last number here is less than 4, either it is 1, it is 2, it is 3. meaning it is a metal. What about a non-metal? Example 3. If, for example, I pick an element like phosphorus, okay? I want to know whether phosphorus is a metal or a non-metal. So phosphorus is P, atomic number is 15. So it's going to be EC 2,8,5. You check the last number. Okay? So if the number of electrons in the last shell, if the number of electrons in the last shell is above 4, the element is a non-metal. Okay? Non-metal. So if the number of electrons in the last shell is above 4, have you seen the number of electrons in the last shell? It is 5, and 5 is above 4. So meaning this element phosphorus is actually a non-metal. Why is it a non-metal? Because the number of electrons in the last shell is less than 4. Okay? Have you understood? Yes. Okay. So we'll say phosphorus, it is 15. So for EC is 2,8,5. So this one, the last number is less, not less, greater than 4, not less. 5. So 5 is above 4, meaning phosphorus is a metal. Okay, so don't be getting confused. So once the last number, if the last number, for example, is 2,8, it ends with 7, 2,8,5, you see, 2,8, 6, numbers that end with the last number greater than, you see, this kind of elements, for example, that end like this, like that is chlorine. Okay, this is chlorine, this is phosphorus, this is sulfur. Such kind of elements, these are non-metals. Why? Because they end with such numbers like 7, 5, 6, which is above 4. Okay, these are above 4. Okay, so once the last number is above 4, meaning it's a metal. It's a non-metal. Non-metal. What I was explaining, non-metal. Above 4, non-metal. Below 4, metal. Now, I think you have understood. So in the exam, they can give you a list of elements. After giving you a list of elements, they can give you a list of elements like calcium, sodium, and so on. And then they ask you identify the metals and the non-metals and give a reason why you say so. For example, let me give it in an exercise so that I see whether I've understood. So the exercise follows like this. Okay, this is the exercise. So identify which is a metal which is a metal, non-metal, comma, inert gas. Inert gas, meaning those ones. When I say inert, I mean noble gas. Okay, they're what you call noble gases. You learn, don't worry. You are learning, it's part of you learning. Noble gases, meaning gases that are stable in their electronic configuration. You should know them. So this is the exercise. Identify which element, actually, I left element there. Identify which element is a metal, non-metal, or inert gas. So these are the elements. I'll list for you the elements. The first one is calcium. Okay. The second one is sulfur, phosphorus, fluorine, argon, magnesium, sodium, carbon, beryllium, boron, chlorine. Okay, so from this list, identify from this list which one is a metal and which one is a non-metal. So how do you know from this list which one is a metal or a non-metal? It means all this list, you're supposed to write the electronic configuration, and then you check the last number. If the last number is less than 4, meaning it's a metal. If the last number is above 4, meaning it's a non-metal. I think I've explained how to identify. So you're supposed to write the ECs for all these to identify. And then the noble gases. The noble gases, they are those gases that are full in their electronic configuration, meaning they end with 8. Those ones that end with 8, they are noble gases. You just say this is a noble gas. When you write electronic configuration, it ends with 8. Once it ends with 8, meaning it's a noble gas. Okay? It's a noble gas. So it cannot be put as a metal or a non-metal. So they are about again, I left one element, neon. We have got number of them that are noble gases. You should know the ones that end with 8 when you write the electronic configuration. So that's question 1. And then question 2 is magnesium a metal? Is magnesium a metal or non-metal? Non-metal. And if so, give a reason. So the question is magnesium a metal? If you say magnesium is a metal, then you give a reason why it's a metal. Okay? So how do you answer such a question? It means you're supposed to write the EC for magnesium and then check if it's a metal or if it's a non-metal. When you say it's a metal, then you give the reason, say magnesium is a metal because the number of electrons in the last shell is less than 4. If magnesium, the number of electrons in the last shell is more than 4, if it's a non-metal, you write magnesium is a non-metal because the number of electrons in the last shell is above 4. What? Such kind of explanations. Be very systematic You need to explain above 4 or below 4 and put a term, the last shell. All those are things that they mark in the exam. Okay? Question 3. Is chlorine a metal or non-metal? If so, give the reason why. It's the same question now. Is chlorine. Okay? Is chlorine a metal or a non-metal? And if a metal, then give a reason. Give the reason why. So these are the 3 questions that you're supposed to do. The end. So end here. Try these.